And so we're going to react. We're going to do Kev and Josh reacts cut right there.
There we go.
Kev and Josh react to Tucker Carlson going on Twitter. Let's look at this video here. It came out, I believe, just about a week ago. Let's watch this.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. You often hear people say the news is full of lies, but most of the time that's not exactly right. Much of what you see on television or read the New York Times is in fact true in the literal sense. It could pass one of the media's own fact checks. Lawyers would be willing to sign off on it. In fact, they may have. But that doesn't make it true. It's not true. At the most basic level, the news you consume is a lie.
Absolutely 100% correct. At the most basic level, the news you consume is a lie, assuming that it's from legacy media. That's the thing, is legacy media is special interest on you. I mean, look, Fox is owned, and a lot of the major networks are basic, like they, well, not owned, but they have major investors from BlackRock and Pfizer. Look, the thing is that the media that you are, yes, it's a lie at the most basic level. What he's really trying to say too is that it's the media you are consuming is funded by somebody else and thus has a special interest invested into it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the thing. You want to know what my media is funded by? Okay, we can even take it to Cities 92.9. Cities 92.9 is funded by local businesses. And the local businesses that invest in us listen to our content and like what they hear, not the other way around. See, what happens in legacy media, is that you have these major donors that give money, and thus the channel can stay and must push the narrative that is being asked of them. Places like Cities 92.9, what I plan on doing once I even grow my YouTube channel even more, is I'm going to say what I want. And if you want to sponsor this show, you can. But you're not going to change what I have to say. And that's the great thing about alternative media. Most alternative media, Daily Wire, The Blaze, most of them is what it is you get sponsored by people that want to sponsor your content.
Right.
And know what you're about. Let's keep going with this video.
A lie of the stealthiest and most insidious kind.
Exactly.
Facts have been withheld on purpose, along with proportion and perspective. You are being manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Let's see. If I tell you that a man has been unjustly arrested for armed robbery, that is not, strictly speaking, a lie. He may have been framed. At this point, there's been no trial, so no one can really say. But if I don't mention the fact that the same man has been arrested for the same crime 6 times before, am I really informing you? No, I'm not. I'm misleading you. And that's what the news media are doing in every story that matters, every day of the week, every week of the year. What's it like to work in a system like that?
Well, like, look at the whole Hunter Biden laptop story. I mean, that whole thing, at best, what the media would say about it is that it's a right-wing conspiracy theory during the 2020 election. Twitter have found to explicitly actually happen. Twitter actually, before being owned by Elon Musk, Twitter actually subdued that story for the purpose of making sure that no one would actually see it.
Yeah, exactly.
That you were absolutely being manipulated. Let's keep going.
After more than 30 years in the middle of it, we could tell you stories. The best you can hope for in the news business at this point is the freedom to tell the fullest truth that you can. But there are always limits. And you know that if you bump up against those limits often enough, you will be fired for it. That's not a guess. It's guaranteed. Every person who works in English language media understands that. The rule of what you can't say defines everything.
Yep.
It's filthy, really, and it's utterly corrupting. You can't have a free society if people aren't allowed to say what they think is true. Speech is the fundamental prerequisite for democracy. That's why it's enshrined in the first of our constitutional amendments. Amazingly, as of tonight, there aren't many platforms left that allow free speech. The last big one remaining in the world, the only one, is Twitter, where we are now. Twitter has long served as the place where our national conversation incubates and develops. Twitter is not a partisan site. Everybody's allowed here, and we think that's a good thing. And yet, for the most part, the news that you see analyzed on Twitter comes from media organizations that are themselves thinly disguised propaganda outlets.
Yep.
You see it on cable news. You talk about it on Twitter. The result may feel like a debate, but actually the gatekeepers are still in charge. We think that's a bad system. We know exactly how it works, and we're sick of it. Starting soon, we'll be bringing a new version of the show we've been doing for the last 6.5 years to Twitter. We'll be bringing some other things too, which we'll tell you about. But for now, we're just grateful to be here. Free speech is the main right that you have. Without it, you have no others. See you soon.
I love Tucker. I do.
Yeah.
I actually don't love the idea of going to Twitter.
Really?
No, I still don't. Maybe it's just because of how Twitter was, but I still don't really trust Twitter. I started to, and then we have this most recent news of this new person that's going to be taking over as
the CEO.
Yes, and she's going to be a part of she's a part of the. So the weird thing is, from things that I saw is that she's a supporter of some right-leaning things, but also some left. But one of the big ones that she's been a part of is the World Economic Forum.
Yeah, she's WF.
And I really don't like that. And so I'm not a person where I'm going to end Twitter. I'm always going to kind of be on Twitter looking at things just because it is a place to get a significant amount of information. But I wish he would, personally, what I wish he would do, it's probably not nearly as simple as going to Twitter, but kind of what I wish is that he would have either gone with the Blazer Daily Wire, that's one, or B, started his own personal channel in which he did his show on tuckercarlson.com or something like that, personally.
But again, the way I see it is could those be based on a contract thing that he can't do that? Where this is his way around that. And again, this could be his bargaining chip. Do you not want me to do this? Do you not want me to go on Twitter and do this? Cool. End my contract. Let me go make a contract with someone else where they'll put me behind a paywall, or or have some form of have me. There's some big, because on Twitter he's not going to get banned on Twitter unless he breaks the code of conduct.
Who knows? Well, yeah, but their code of conduct is so thin. You can find pretty much
changed. You
can find a crap ton of naked people on Twitter. So
yeah, it's changed a bit, but yeah, it's fascinating to see. And I do think it's interesting too that he says it's the only place that's nonpartisan, even kind of calling out YouTube, being YouTube isn't,
Yeah.
No,
I think, he'll, wherever he went, no matter where it was, he'd bring 60 million people with him. So